Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your international break roundtable show. I'm, of course, your host, the Gov. This is Talking Town, the platform for fans by fans, and I'm looking forward to discussing some topics this afternoon that have been rampaging like wildfire through the fan base over the last 7 days, and there's been quite a bit. Obviously, we signed somebody on Friday. We'll discuss that. There was a great show if you've not yet seen it. I mean, 2,500 people have seen it, which is great to see. The transfer signing that Rich did with two new faces. It felt a bit like a Carling Cup game. You know, get the old steady hand out there, the experienced pro, and put a couple of whippersnappers that are trying to break into the first team out there. It was really good show. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. As always, we welcome your feedback, whether you're watching live or on catch up. Do get your comments in. Obviously, Wes Burns is an injury news this morning from international. He's not traveling to Latvia. Stephen Parry picks that up first of all. If Wes' injury keeps him out for a bit, more confident with Hutchinson based on the last couple of games, but let's hope. We've got lots of people file in and get your comments in. I'm joined this afternoon by Lisa Cruncher. I was like Lee Evans controlling things. I won't say anything else after that. AD Croucher, afternoon, everyone. This is a fans from on Wednesday, but the point system I can imagine AD it probably will. Now, joining me this afternoon is the man, the myth, the legend. It is Matthew Phillips. Matthew, how are you, sir?
Good, thanks. Other than melting, as we discussed before we came on air.
Tell me about it. I was at a wedding yesterday. I had to change my suit in the afternoon because I sweated that much. Sweating in places I didn't know you could sweat, if I'm honest. It was...
I had the same problem with shorts, not a wedding suit.
I feel for anybody that's pregnant in this weather, I will be honest, because it must be hell.
I don't remember like all the kids going back to school and having temperatures like this. Certainly when I was a kid. Do you know what I mean? Was it global warming? What's causing this?
I'm not going to wander into that.
Oh, don't go down that one.
No. That is a Netley path.
How do people get stuff done in Spain? I know they have siestas and that. I just want to sort of lie down for the whole day.
yeah, absolutely. Sean says, how many of our squad are internationals? I've lost count. We've got quite a few internationals now, haven't we?
It's great to see, isn't it? There was like a fallow period, wasn't there? No one from Ipswich got call-ups. Yeah, but it's great to see. Yeah, really good to see. Fantastic. Long may it continue.
I got a lovely email this morning from a chap called Jerry who lives in Australia, and he's given me a lovely write-up on Cameron Burgess, which I might just read. Just watching them. Yeah, absolutely. Big up, Jerry. Love our little backs and forwards. He's like a pen pal. I love it.
Do you remember those? Did you ever have one?
No, but now I've got one. I've got Jerry.
Good. I like that. Yeah, it's good.
I do. Yeah, he sends me all sorts of stuff, and I love hearing from him.
Because the world is now closer knit because of the internet. No one's really referred to as pen pals anymore, are they? It's just part of normal communication.
Absolutely. Messages in a bottle.
Yeah, see what Jerry's got to say.
He says, just watch the Mexico-Australia game at the civilized time of midday. How lovely. Nice. Overall, a great game, particularly with his strength of headed chance clearances. Unfortunately, he gave away a very soft, typical Cam Burgess penalty where he allowed the player to get in front of him on a through ball and he gave away a soft foul in the area. The foul was almost identical to one given away when playing for Town last year. He is just a yard off the pace when chasing through balls, which I think is very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Don't get me started on last season with Burgess because I started writing him off.
In his defence, it was also poor goalkeeping from. I haven't seen the incident from the keeper, not to see the change and come out to collect the ball. The second goal was a similar mistake by the keeper, not getting off his line early enough, and Suter letting the ball go over his head, albeit 6'9" off the ground.
Oh, God,
he's 6'9".
Yeah,
being that tall.
No, I can't imagine being that tall.
I'd be getting vertigo.
I wouldn't want to be that tall actually, unless I was at like a concert or something. You can see over people's heads. That'd be quite good.
Yeah, and he goes on. It's a great little email. But so Cam Burgess international debut last night. Stephen Perry says Mexico are 12th ranked in the team, so there are no mugs. Does FIFA rankings or UEFA rankings or whatever, whoever does it, they actually count? Like,
I'm not sure. I don't know how that works. I do have a friend who
works first, weren't they, for a while?
Yeah. The Coca-Cola FIFA rankings or something. Yeah, they were first for a long time. I think probably because they were playing maybe more friendlies on that side of the world than what everyone else was, maybe. Because like you had Belgium in there and Brazil, and we've hung around there. But it's great to see him. I'm surprised Luongo didn't get a cap as well, quite frankly, with his performances he's been putting in this calendar year, January onwards. But it's great to see Burgess get the recognition, even if he probably is Scottish, really, through the old ancestral parents or whatever it might be, because he played Scottish youth football. I know that internationally. But it's great. Like I said earlier, long may it continue, because, you know, it puts Ipswich Town on the map. Hence, you see Morsi to Egypt, and then you've got Burgess in Australia, and then once old Baggett gets back in the frame for Indonesia, gets eyes on, which is great as we count down
the value
Premier League.
You know, also the value increases of an international player. You know, that's
absolutely.
That always happens. That always happens. But great to see, you know, international players. But Wes Burns obviously today reports that he's not travelling to Latvia with the Wales squad because he's injured, which is a big. That's always been my big concern with these call-ups. Is I'm still not confident in our squad depth. I've still not seen enough to say, brilliant. We can manage without Burns for a game or two. Let him rest up. So to hear he's injured this morning, we don't know how severe. I don't even know what the injury is. That is a worry.
Yeah, it is a little bit, because if we said before, you know, he's, regardless of what you think of his crossing and stuff, I think he is one of the first names on the team sheet in terms of, I don't know, he just seems part of that little triangle of players like your Chaplins, your Hursts, all of those, Wolfenden, just seem to be in that mix slightly as a name on the team sheet. Now, whether that changes over the course of the season, Amari Hutchinson, whoever else it might be, comes to the forefront, we'll have to wait and see. I'd like to know who's made that call and whether he's injured. So was he actually with the Welsh squad, or was he with the Ipswich squad? So he's actually with the Welsh squad.
I think he was, because I think he was involved in the friendly, wasn't it, the weekend? Or the
qualifier? Oh, right, okay.
I'm sure he was involved. I've not seen any football, to be fair.
We don't like international friendlies, do we? You and me.
That's flipping rubbish, isn't it? Like,
we
big teams in the competition already, and you know.
I do remember a time when I think it was Teddy Bishop got called up to England under 19s or 20s. As soon as his name was mentioned, I said to the guys in the press office, he won't travel with this. And lo and behold, McCarthy said he had shin splints and couldn't travel. So sometimes there's a little bit of politics, which is why I was interested to know whether or not it's either Ipswich making the call with the Welsh training staff.
I'm not sure, but I'm sure that the chat will know. Francis says he'll play Saturday. This says Wes came on Friday. Bomb 87 he's hurt hamstring in 3 or 4 weeks. Leo, I feel when you're a fringe player in a national game, that it's easy to pull out and safeguard. If you're a regular first team player in a club football. Personally, I'd do the same.
I agree with that. I think there'll be a conversation with the. I think there'll be a conversation with the club as well about that. And treating the kid gloves.
And Crunch. I always find that bizarre how the clubs pay the wages, but they have very little control when it comes to. It's almost like owning a car. And then the council turning up whenever they want to and saying, we're going to borrow that. Well, hang on. I like last year in League One, I need that player. Oh, well, it's tough, you know. Like, hang on, who pays the man's wages here? You know what I mean? Like, that really always bugbears me, particularly last year in League One. It's...
No, I totally agree with you. Yeah, I don't think that's... because they're worth such value to the clubs now on several different competitions, be it, you know, your Man City's in Europe and contesting for Champions League and trying to win the Premier League, and then you've got to palm them off to some maybe a lesser organised organisation, which you do see with some of these nations. I can understand it. Certainly in terms of the value and stuff, you'll never get over it, and I think it's probably always been that way. It's just, I think it's magnified now with the fees involved for the players if they were to be transferred or whatever it might be.
Yeah, but it is a great achievement to have international football under your belt. But also another achievement, we have signed a player, but not only just signed a player, ladies and gentlemen, we have signed a player that comes with a world record. Hungry Hippos. Absolutely fascinated by it. I want to know if they're going to get some Hungry Hippos in the canteen so, you know, we can play regularly. Can we get that on Town TV? Maybe some premium content for your $5.99. I don't know. I'd watch it. I'd watch a round robin tournament. You know, can they beat Axel Tuanzebe?
What has it actually been officially recognised by the Guinness Book of Records? Because you remember,
I'm sure I've seen him with a little certificate. I'm sure I've seen that picture.
They must have sent it in then. Because back in the day, if you're my age, you had Roy Castle, dedication, Norris McWhirter. He'd have him in the studio doing it. You're probably the Chris Akabusi era, I would imagine.
Probably.
Chill banker. Yeah. I used to love that. That book's still out, by the way. I'm going to get it for my son for Christmas.
Yeah. I've never been a big fan of it, to be fair. Like the man who can burp the loudest and the longest. It's like that.
Well, having discussed with Stanley about this Hungry Hippos thing, it was Rich who broke this news to us, wasn't it? About this. We looked up who could eat the most chilies. And it was a guy who was eating from Australia called Iron Guts Barlow. good nickname, wrestling style, and he could eat 160 Carolina Reaper chilies, the hottest chili in the world by all accounts, as if he was eating Mars bars, just munching them down.
Strange that, isn't it?
I can't. He found out he could do that. I don't know.
I think
I love that though.
If you want to put spice, I think tikka masala is my level. So chilies are certainly off the menu. But
I'd struggle with some chili on pepperoni pizza from Sainsbury's.
I don't do chili. I don't do heat at all, to be fair. I'm quite a mild person, quite vanilla, as you could probably say. But we have signed Axel Tuanzebe, free transfer. Somebody sent me. I'm gonna have to read this because somebody sent me an absolute epic message, and I don't know if it's true, but I'm going to read it anyway, and you can find it and fact check it and all that jazz. And I sent it to you in the WhatsApp group, and I'm just going to read it. Jack Wilshere has played more than our new guy in the past 5 years, and Jack Wilshere's been retired for 2 of them. Now, I don't know how true that is. I've not fact checked it.
Fact checking.
But that's a hell of a paragraph to say in something.
It is, yeah. Whether or not it's true or not, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's but amusing nonetheless.
He has been injured. Obviously he comes with an injury record. Can we keep him fit and all that jazz? But it's a great signing, I think.
On paper, it's a great signing.
Yeah.
Yes, because look, even Chris Hall from West Bromwich Albion, who's in Romania at the moment on holiday, not a destination I would put him down to going to.
Get some wine.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I did say to him, "There's a decent drop of red over there." Hint, hint. Yeah. He went and watched Romania-Israel last night. An entertaining 1-1 draw, he told me. But he sent me a message straight away. That is one hell of a signing when he saw Tuanzebe had signed us. And then little dots. Ding, 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 if he stays fit. And that's the big thing, isn't it? If is such a massive word. If he stays fit. Because if he could stay fit, he'd still be a Manchester United player. And as Phil Blundell rightly and Cruncher said, and Craig said on the show Friday night, he's even captain Manchester United. Now, they don't give that out to just anybody. So, I mean, if you've seen the video on the BBC where they do the mini doc for 5 minutes, where he's like talking about his journey from actually living in poverty in Congo to where he is now, via Rochdale is where he came through. Really speaks fantastically well. Again, like Cameron Humphreys, really intelligent, humble. One of my mates said to me, United seasons ago, really humble guy when you hear him talk. And I watched the video, and I was like, bloody hell, he really is. He could be someone who could take over from Morsi as a captain. If Morsi goes to the African nations thing in the new year, we'll discuss that a little bit later.
Is a problem.
Yeah. But if he can stay fit, now what are we expecting now? If he hasn't done that many games over the 5 years, as that message implies, we know he hasn't played a lot. What are the expectations of McKenna and co this season? Because presumably he's passed the medical, right? Or some kind of medical. And we know he's kind of still recovering from some kind of niggle. So I reckon he's come on a fair wage because apparently he couldn't agree a deal with Luton in terms of contracts. So that's the reason why he's ended up with us. And of course, McKenna is the pull, isn't it? Always the pull. Where do we think about that guy? He says
League One
in terms of pulling players in. You know what I mean? So it'd be very interesting. But what's the expectation of games? Where will he play? That's a question for McKenna, not us, because he seems to play on the right hand side when he played for United. He ain't going to move Wolfenden out of there, I don't think. And, it'd be a bit harsh on Burgess now, considering we're second in the table and he's just had an international call-up. Now, he has played right back, I think, for Aston Villa.
Yeah, he can play sort of variety of positions. And
I think he's that good, he could play all of them. Yeah.
Look, on paper, this is a phenomenal signing. But as I always say, football ain't played on paper, it's played on grass. And your best ability is availability. So until he can prove that to me, it's a... I mean, yeah.
Some players are just destined. I don't think to have these kind of careers. I don't know if you've watched that Football Dreams on BBC One, the iPlayer, with Noel Gifton Williams looking out, trying to get kids a second chance in the game. They've been in pro clubs. They've come out. There's a kid in there called Jake who used to be in the Southampton first team, played a couple of games, Carabao Cup and that. And even in this situation here, he's constantly injured. Even though he's trying his absolute hardest, he dislocates his shoulder in a game. He's done his ACL year before. Just constantly battling injuries. And I just hope Tuanzebe isn't like that, because I feel like he really reminds me of Titus Bramble. Maybe a little bit more, maybe not quite as absent-minded as Titus could be.
Well, I haven't seen him play, to be fair.
Straight to it. Yeah, but he's got that kind of presence about him, big in the box. He shakes the video. Rich sent to me. He shakes Mbappe off the ball. comfortably.
Yeah,
like
foul,
Sinistera did to Williams at Leeds. Does that to
him? If it's the Championship, man, that's a foul.
Well,
We've seen those given every day of the week. In League One, it's a straight red.
But if he stays fit, brilliant. But I'd love to know what the expectation is. And again, hopefully the local media will ask that question because, great signing. Where's he fit in? And how many games did he play? That's what I want to know.
I guess they'll wait and see on that, right? In that regard, can he force his way in? But as I say, best ability is availability, and let's see if he can prove that. Is a reason why he's being signed early part of September and not perhaps in the first part of the summer. He's had various trials. He has had injury concerns.
Betis.
Luton. Well, yeah,
Betis,
and Luton.
And
Luton,
they couldn't agree the deal, by all accounts. I don't know how true that is. Internet rumours. But I'd imagine we can pay more wages than what Luton can.
Do you think?
Depends how much of their money they get off the bat, I suppose. Premier League
true. But I'm always skeptical with injury players. So I have to be honest when I do this show. I can't do anything but. People say you're negative or you're pessimistic. I'm just real. Facts don't care for feelings, and facts is he hasn't stayed fit.
It's true.
Doesn't mean doesn't mean he can't do. And people in the chat are saying, we signed Luongo with that injury record, but we also signed Johnny Williams 3 times with an injury record, and 3 times he played about 60 minutes and then was injured.
There's
always winners. Okay. There's always losers.
It's interesting to me that Luongo came with that injury record and has hardly missed the game since. Now, is that because the staff at Middlesbrough or Sheffield Wednesday aren't as good as what we've got in at Ipswich? Now, you'd imagine the sporting medical staff at Manchester United are going to be cream of the crop, and they couldn't keep him fit. So it'll be interesting to see what we can do when he comes through our doors. But listen, let's wish him all the best because that could be a real, we've said it before, a game changer for this season with him in defence. Every club in the Championship would like him in their defence.
Game changer. You got that one in. Look, he slipped that in. We're going to come to the ticket idea. I will start some comments on the tickets because I know that's a big. I'm not going to mention where I've seen 18 pages, but what felt like 18 pages. But Aidy says Bramble loved bulldozing his way through the opposition midfield. Look, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how Axel Tuanzebe's.
Remember the Bramble Sunderland goal at Pullman Road? Absolute scenes. I can still picture that as if it was yesterday. Him just he says, bulldozing through, put it in. Those little moments that gave us momentum in the Premier League. Brilliant.
My memories of Titus are more at Wigan or Newcastle than they are at Town. Because it's probably just I was a bit too young to really take that in. But what I am impressed with, before we move on, is the management of Harry Clark, and that gives me a lot of confidence in this sports science and physio team, because obviously Harry's got a situation, an Achilles, and they've managed that in whatever way they've managed it, in a tremendous way that he's playing. He's playing. People will have their opinions on how he's playing, but he is playing and he's managing through it. And that might be he's not training 3 out of the 5, 2 out of the 5, whatever. But that gives me confidence. This is a flexible team that don't mind putting ad hoc plans together. And that sounds quite simple. But we've had players in the past, we won't say names, you travelled in cars, that you felt like probably could have been managed a little bit better, right, Matt?
Yeah. Playing for Notts County now.
But that situation screams to you that could we have managed that better?
Probably. But maybe, well, I mean, look, in Harry hindsight, our favourite football pundit, in Harry hindsight, most likely, I think, football, the medical tech around football is constantly evolving, isn't it? And I think McKenna is one of these people who wants, he's had the privilege of being inside Manchester United, how they work with their players, innovations they're using, what's coming down the line. I think he's connected to all of that. And we've probably got all that in place. I think, how they're managing Clark is really good because, normally with a tendon injury there in the Achilles, you miss him for ages. As I've said before, it's like it's worse than a broken ankle, really, in terms of heal time. But he's played. That's the pun as well. Heal time. But at least they're managing his time brilliantly. I think really good.
Yeah,
we used to have the ambulance little segue, didn't we?
Did.
Injury reports.
That might be coming back. You never know. It might hook up with a physician. But it just obviously an Achilles affects that sort of explosive first step, or it can do. And
well, your guy told you that, didn't he?
My osteo, who's obviously got some medical background, more medical background than I've got. So just interesting that they've done that really well. Another thing that's interesting. This will be a very quick segment. First 6 games of the year. Obviously, the international break has arrived, and
yes,
the first 6 games have been and gone, and I'll read them out to you if you need reminding. Sunderland 2-1 victory, Bristol Rovers 2-0 victory, Stoke 2-0 victory, QPR 1-0 victory. So those clean sheets and goals against, they took a bit of a hit because we played Leeds at home. They lost 4-3. And then we decided also against Reading and Cardiff to not bother defending it seems. Reading away 2-2 in the Cup, progressing obviously to play Wolves next month, and Cardiff 3-2. So after the first part of the season where goals against was really quite healthy, we decided to throw the defending out of the window. But how would you grade that? I mean, it's quite a simple question and probably will be a very simple answer, but how would you grade that first 6 games?
I think it's fantastic, man. I would say an A. We're second in the table. We're going into September. I think we've been brilliant. I certainly didn't think we were going to take all those wins at the start at the top of the season. Really didn't. I did. I it's full marks everybody involved, quite frankly. But then we did say, would McKenna be more suited to? Well, I didn't say this, but a lot of people in the community did. Would McKenna's style of football be more suited to the Championship, just because you're up against clubs that of similar ilk, really, and want to play in that style rather than be spoilers? And well, we saw that a little bit at Cardiff, I suppose, last Saturday in terms of defending quite deep. But that seems to be a default position, didn't it, when clubs came to Bournemouth Road? Lincoln, when they beat us in the smash and grab. Listen, we could show we can do that as well. We smashed and grabbed QPR in a game we could have lost and had a bit of luck. The Sinclair's shot, it's both posts.
Yeah,
but you know, it's good to be lucky, I think.
We make your own luck and forward, don't they? They say, and what's really sort of impressive for me, the first part, is you've played a varied number of teams in the sense of you played a playoff semi-finalist in Sunderland, you've played Stoke, albeit early doors, but they've had what some would say is a really good window. You've been in the Leeds game, you've shown desire, commitment, fortitude to fight back from 3-1 down. You didn't get any points out of it, but you showed something. And obviously Cardiff last week, you're showing something, and you're in every game. You've got your moments in every game, and you've played those varied teams. QPR weren't expected, but they've had a fairly decent first 6 or 7 games by probably what people predicted. So that may look like a good win come May next year. So yeah, it's got to be a really positive start. You can't really say much else about it. You've shown you can be in every game against every level of opposition, be that a Premier League side, or be that a relegation threatened possible side. So I think
we've not been outpassed by anybody, and we didn't expect to be particularly.
Maybe Sunderland first 25, 30 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's just 2 little areas. I think that opening day, when we were already under the cosh, I texted and said we're going to get slaughtered here. But they changed mid-game, didn't they? And suddenly we go into half-time winning 1-0, but again with a fortunate goal, I guess.
Great goal. Well worked on the training ground, that.
But again, being lucky. You know, that Broadhead was there when David said the shot. So yes, but we've not seen anything like that since, have we? And of course, we had the little spell against Leeds, that 10 minutes of madness where we got overrun a little bit. But look, we're not that far away from playing 10 games, and we're going to get to that in October.
Yeah.
And this month, going into October. And then you tend to find that is how the pieces might fall for the rest of the season. You're going to finish there or thereabouts. Generally, people always say, show me the table after 10 games, and it doesn't always differ that much, I don't think. Unless someone has a real kind of a run. I know Cooper got Forest out of the Premier League, didn't he, with a massive run, but they don't happen very often.
No, and you're right. The 10-game mark is always a good barometer.
It'd be a really good marker for us. Yeah,
and we'll get there in a couple of weeks. So who's been your player of the month? And I'm pretty sure Sam Morsi actually won it. I'm trying to double check as we're talking, but I can't seem to see the news on the ITFC website. But I'm pretty sure, from memory, I saw a tweet where it's Sam Morsi that won player of the month. He just missed
out on the EFL one, didn't he? The guy from Norwich won it. I saw it was a guy from Norwich. He didn't bother looking any further.
No, me neither. If he didn't, let me know in the chat if somebody else did win it. But do you agree with that? Was he your player of the month, or was somebody else your player?
I think to be honest with you, I think he's always in the mix because he's such a stand-up character. All you've got to do is see that tackle where he injured himself against Cardiff last week on the edge of the box. Tells you everything you need to know about that guy. And in bloody hell, I thought he might be out injured for a bit, and he still goes to play against Ethiopia, was it? They were playing Egypt the other night.
I'm not sure. Can't remember. I've not really been up to date with the international break. I'm not going to lie.
No. I did have a look at that.
Passes me by.
Out of interest. But yeah, he's in the frame. I would actually put Hladky in the frame. And I know a lot of people.
He's my shout.
Yeah, because I think it's easy and lazy of people to say, oh, but he made a mistake against Leeds. Players make mistakes. Unfortunately, if you're a keeper, as we said before, they generally lead to goals. But the saves he's made far outweigh that one mistake, I think. Certainly was man of the match for me against Cardiff. And you've got to think of what was his starting position? I'm not expecting to start the season. Walton gets that injury against Luton at Colchester. Suddenly Hladky's thrown into it, and the boy Slicker just behind him. I think he's been fantastic in league football. Not played a league game, has he, for ages? I think he's been fantastic. So I would probably, I think it's easy to say Morsi. I think it's, and I think Hladky's had a really good start. And long may it continue, because if however long it takes Walton to get fit, and I think Walton will have to prove himself on the training ground to get back in the team. I don't think it's automatic that Walton gets straight back in the team. Not when Hladky's, putting runs of good games together and making great saves. I can't see that happening. I think we'll keep his shirt.
Well, you talk about, early part of the show about management of an injury. Now, this is where it's really good, because if you had a Hladky in goal and he's making mistakes, or he's looking ropey, or he's not looking like you assured, then there may be a feeling where, can Walton go? Is he 70%? Can he go? Great, get him back. We need our number one goalkeeper back. But because he's playing so well, there's not that need. There's not that rush. There's not that we need him back in instantly. We need to get Walton back at number one. You can really manage him, get him to 110, get him to 100%, and ease him back in almost, and not have to think, because it can be a case when your number one goalkeeper particularly is out injured, that you I would feel, I can't say for the club because I'm not the football club, but I would feel, can he go? Get him back. I've done that as a manager, albeit on a Saturday or Sunday, where if my star striker is even 85% and the geezer who's replacing him can't hit a barn door, you're playing that. Like if you tell me you're fit, you're playing. Whereas now you can obviously manage that better. And I think Hladky's been outstanding. Just for the hair. As a hair connoisseur, he got the vote from me just for the hair. I want to know what products he uses. I'm not going to lie. So if you're watching Vaclav, let me know. Is it a hair? Is it a hair? It must be a hairspray. Yeah, what do you mean? He keeps it so still for 90 minutes.
He does, yeah. It's impressive, that, isn't it? Yeah. I think they, like in the 50s, when everyone was using Brill cream, that used to see like a hair out of place in the 50s. They were heading in big old balls as well, weren't they? Back in the day.
They will. Go on.
I was going to say, he does bring obviously he brings, even though he's a keeper, he brings a different skill set to the team, in that his distribution is far better than what Walton's is.
He's phenomenal on the ball.
Yeah, really good. And look, McKenna did say this before the Burnley game, didn't he? He's got great feet. One of the best keepers with feet in the country. He was all like, really? Because we hadn't seen much of him. He did all right in that Burnley game at Pullman Road that I saw. He made a good tipside one over the bar, I seem to recall. But yeah, look, you've only got to see how far he's up playing when we're in the box. If the ball, you're safe to go back to him, and he can get he can recycle the attack again, which is of course what Richard Wright used to do. I used to love that sweeper keeper style, wasn't it?
He's unflappable as well under pressure. He's really playing what McKenna wants him to play. Those really brave passes into the midfield, which makes everyone in the cobble stand go. But that's what we do. That's how McKenna wants to play. That's you need to be brave when you need to be brave, and sensible when you need to be sensible. But Stephen Parry just says, because Gov still, I do not use Brill cream. I use £1 Alberto balm from Tesco's, and despite an inflation crisis, that thing is still £1. So it's an amazing achievement that it's still a quid. If it goes up, I don't know what I might start using. I've tried the cheap stuff before, like the 30-odd-p from Tesco. That's no good. That's not that. No, in 10 seconds.
You was expecting value for 30p?
You never know. 30-odd-p curry sauces are pretty good.
Yeah, you've got to try these.
You've got to try these things.
Are you of the school of thought then? Because I wonder how far Walton's back in playing, returning to first team action. Don't know. But you have the school of thought that Hladky will keep his shirt regardless, as long as he doesn't like throw one in the net against Buddy Southampton or whatever. I
don't know, because I don't know. I mean, some people live in the world of you don't lose your place through injury. Like, it's your place. If you get injured, your replacement steps up, does their job, and then you come back and prove that you're the better player, as it were. So you rarely lose. Some people have that train of thought. I kind of subscribe to it a little bit myself. Like, I'm all for form, that's fine, but injury is an unfortunate part of the football landscape, be that whatever sport it is.
I just think probably my take on it is Walton needs to show that he's going to be the better option when he returns. It's on Walton, I think. I think it'd be harsh on Hladky to drop him. Like I say, if as long as he keeps playing like he is at the moment, if you start making mistakes, give away pens, whatever it might be, passing to the opposition. We're capable of all these things.
Yeah. Lee says Walton isn't that good of a ladkey that he can walk straight back in. He needs easing in with Saucepan. I think Walton is fit. He starts cup games, gets a few.
That's what I was thinking. Cup games, yeah.
Yeah.
But we've got Wolves coming up, haven't we? I don't think we'll be ready for that. I mean, are we looking at the tail end of the year?
Injuries is like UFO conspiracies at Portman Road, mate. You ask a question, are there questions being asked? I don't know, but it's almost like secret, need to know information. It really is MI5. Yeah.
You never beat the Paul Lambert Cole Skews thing. How's Cole Skews getting on? Don't know. I haven't seen him for ages. He's at home watching Celebrity Road Trip Antiques.
Yeah. I just like it when they ask, not necessarily Kieran McKenna, when they ask, what sort of injury is it? He's got an ankle. You get that a lot in the NFL. Like, for example, Justin Fields is out injured. He's not, but if he was out injured, what's wrong with him? He's got an ankle. Okay, great. He's got an ankle. We all know he's got an ankle, but what's wrong actually wrong with the flipping ankle?
Yeah, it's broken it. It's fixed muscle. What's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. Leaks hurt us, Gov. You know the drill, says the. Well, all right.
You know that.
Talking of knowing the drill, tickets. That's been a big old talking point this week. So we'll come to that halfway through the show. We've got a number of away games coming up, which we'll obviously get through in a second. We've got Wednesday, Saints, Huddersfield away next in the next period.
Yes.
Where do we start with this? Because I hate talking about it because it does my nutting. I'm not going to lie. I think it's a little bit silly. I think there's still plenty of tickets, for example, for Saints and South and Wednesday still available. When we went live, I checked. What's your take on it? Well, I'll welcome comments from the chat. I'll put as many as I can on the screen.
What's everyone got the ump about then? What because you're always going to have the allocation of tickets is always going to be less than the demand, isn't it? You got 3,000 tickets going, I don't know, wherever, just Southampton for argument's sake, but you got 10,000 people want them. Yeah,
but this is a creation of the club's doing, right?
Because of the membership scheme.
Yeah, with the points. Yeah. So they brought out a membership for away games, 40 quid. I paid that. And then they sort of said, everyone last year, you get your points added on, which I don't agree with. I'll say that now. I don't agree with that. I think if you're going to bring out a new system, it should have been, and this is where I think they need to go with it. £40, first come, first serve, no points. Because then, right, you're not going to get this mad rush that people perceive to be happening.
Yeah.
4 points. Because, like, if you've got Mr. A, who's gone, I don't know, 40 points, he wants to keep himself above Mr. Man B on 8 points, right?
Yeah.
Because the rich want to stay richer and want to keep increasing the gap between the haves and the have-nots. And the points is what the issue is here. If the games weren't pointed, there would not be a mad rush for Southampton away, Wednesday. Well, it might be a Wednesday away, but, Huddersfield away. There'd be a normal demand. Right?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I'm just thinking back to like when I bought tickets to go to the San Siro into Milan. I just phoned up the ticket office. Go 3 for the San Siro, please. Yep.
I remember Chelsea away in the FA Cup. I queued up for like 6 hours, got a parking ticket for the privilege, but I got Chelsea tickets. Like,
yeah,
you're not going to please all of the people all of the time. That's a given.
Do you think the fact they've monetized the membership means they feel obliged to try and give you some kind of, I don't know, status within that? Don't even have to, if that's the right word.
But you reward status for people who didn't know they were getting status. And
yeah.
They've done the hard yards. These people who've got 40 points, for example, they've done the hard yards. And I'm not taking anything away from them as,
brilliant.
Absolutely. You went to Morecambe away.
Rich being one of them.
Yeah, we went to Morecambe away. You went to Fleetwood away. Like, I take my hat off to you because I couldn't do those. Literally. But you've got an issue now. You've got a massive issue. You've got a massive issue in the fan base. It ain't going to get any better unless you change it. I just, my view, you scrap the points. Everyone pays for a membership. You all log on at 10 a.m. First come, first serve.
Yeah, I think that's probably a sensible way of doing it. Maybe it will change to that next season. Who knows? Because we've said on this show before, the more people accrue points, the less likely other people are going to get to go to games. It'll forever be the same away following. Yeah.
Well, for example, next year I won't be buying an away membership next year because I will not get enough points this year to ever catch up with someone like Rich ever. Like, doesn't matter if whatever happens, I will never catch up with someone like Rich because he's on wherever, and I'm millions of miles away. But then you've got Reading is a prime example of the system and what it is. They sell out Reading away, which is effectively the Milk Cup, and it's because they put points on it. Now, I don't know how many actually attended Reading away, but would you have sold out that away allocation had that game not been pointed? My instinct says no.
Probably not. No, exactly. Yeah, I do agree with that. I think that's probably a good plan moving forward, but whether or not the club will take that on board or will review it, you don't want it because look, people start thinking what's in it for them. And if they're not getting that value out of it, they start getting the ump, regardless that we all support the same club. We see this in various other factions of the club, don't we? What am I getting out of this as a supporter, I suppose? And that's why you get 18-page threads on,
various places.
Forums.
So do you think next year you could see something brought out because they've looked at the system, it's not really worked, so you're going to get a tiered system very similar to what you had before with the gold, the diamonds, the bloody, whatever it was? Because if you said to people, right, you pay £100 a year to be a blue biro member, or you pay £50 to be a black biro member, or you pay £20 to be a green biro member.
That just seems overcomplication to me. It's overcomplicated something that's quite simple, isn't it? We've got 3,000 tickets going to Ipswich Town Fans. And I see Rich there saying, you're penalising the fans who've put the hard yards in.
No, you're not.
Yeah, but that's your own choice. That's your own choice.
But the other flip side of the coin on this, and this is what really gets me, is there's not really a ticket shortage. The problem isn't getting tickets, right? The problem isn't actually somebody saying, I can't go to this game because there's no tickets. The problem is the marketplace is flooded with tickets, perceivably. I don't think it is, because people are buying the tickets, they're not going. But if you really wanted to go, like, forget the points, wrap that in your mind for a second, you could go. There's tickets available. There are actual tickets available. It's not a problem of obtaining the tickets. It's a problem with you can't move forward in the ladder of points. So you can't ever. Yeah. But that's life. That's the way they've created it. That's for me, the club's fault.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I think they should. I mean, look, should there be a loyalty system for fans that put the hard yards in? Depends what you call about putting hard yards in, I suppose. No one asks you to go up and down the motorway, and I've had my season ticket since 1999. I had a season ticket from 82 to 87 with my dad. We've put in hard yards over the years, albeit at Pullman Road. I don't know. It just seems like you're all forever going to be giving 3,000 tickets away to the same 3,000 people to me. And and if Ipswich are truly about being, inclusive and all that kind of thing, and having a diverse supporter base and all that kind of thing, I don't see how you can do that away from home if you're just giving it to the same people all the time. But look, I'm not really in the market for this because I'm not, I wouldn't go up and down. I wouldn't be able to afford it for one thing.
I mean, I
don't know how people do, but I mean, fair play to you if you do. I think it's fantastic.
I asked for £4.99 donations, Matt. I can afford 80 quid on a away day.
Yeah. I mean, those Sheffield Wednesday tickets are dead lumpy, Rich was saying. Well, almost like 40 quid a ticket.
It's a nightmare, mate. Absolute nightmare. I'll come to the comments in a second, but it's really causing an issue.
Isn't Premier League away tickets capped at 30, Rich was saying?
Yeah, well, this annoys me as well, the ticket prices, because when you get clubs say, well, if other clubs treat us or charge us this, we'll charge that. Why can't the EFL just sit together and say, right, let's just put a £20, £30 limit on it all?
Yeah.
Like, stop being children in the playground where we're saying, well, if you do, I will. If they do, they will. Like, just bang your heads together. Treat your fans with respect is what I would say. But, what do I know? I'm just running a podcast.
I think hang on, mate. Just before you read that one, I was just thinking, you could, like when they do tickets, don't they? They go, right, this is available for, like tomorrow, Wolves in the Carabao. That's available to season ticket holders to get your seat, isn't it? From tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah.
If you want to
secure your seat, isn't it?
Secure.
And then
we can do that from tomorrow. You could, if you have free open away ticket thing. If you've been to all the away games so far, for example, to date, you can call tomorrow, Monday, and that would give you your kind of like exclusive chance if you wanted to go. If it was like without this kind of points thing.
Yeah, but the issue is people. But the issue is people perceiving the marketplace to be people increasing their points and selling their tickets, which means
So it's the points. Put the points make prizes. It's the points that the issue, then, isn't it?
It is because people, on 7 points can't go past 7 points because, and I've met people in the street and they've said, oh, I'm on 21, my wife's on 18, so we're buying tickets even though we can't go because we want to get my wife up to the same level as me and we want to keep very even, which I think is a very fair thing to do because the club have created this issue by points and not also no. Just points full stop. Points.
It's hamstrung as well by the fact that the EFL is behind football in England is behind the curve on streaming games in the United Kingdom. You've got this archaic rule that if it's taking place between 2:45 and 5:15, you can't stream it on UK IP address. Absolutely ludicrous, I think that that would take a lot of the pressure away because people feel like they could watch it from the comfort of their own home if they couldn't go, for example.
And the issue...
And Carabao, you can't stream that either. Ludicrous.
Well, no, that's welcome to English football. But the real elephant in the room that people know, but you don't ever really see is this is all because of one reason, because people want to go to Norwich away, and they need to have those points in the bank to go to Norwich away. If you didn't have Norwich away on the calendar, I wonder if in fact, I don't wonder. I think I probably feel in my gut there wouldn't be this issue because that's the big pinnacle for every Town fan alive, I think, who wants to go to an away game. That's the one you want to be at. I
can I presume they put the system in on the back of research that maybe asked season ticket holders in a survey. I don't know if I got sent that. I doubt I would have filled it in anyway. I don't like doing surveys. How often are you going to go to away games? What away games did you go to this season? And then you then get some what they would call in like marketing circles baseline data to work out, what your audience is within that sphere.
What you could have done is you could have kept the points in place, but then said you have to present your ticket stubs for Norwich away, and those with 20 ticket stubs will get first access. Those with 10 will get second, because then you can't give the ticket to somebody else because you need the stub.
Yeah, that's pretty old school. That's how I got my ticket to Wembley. I seem to recall the stubs.
This is it. This sort of thing is not new. It's been a thing for. But you could, couldn't you? You could say that would have been a great way, I think, because then that would have immediately eliminated almost the ticket situation because you'd need the ticket stub, and the person who's got the ticket wouldn't say, "Well, here's the stub back, mate," because that will also mean something to them.
Yeah, we go around in circles on this. I mean, you've put some good points together. Points, another one. I'm full today.
And they could do it. The club could do it any time, Matt. The club could come out tomorrow and say, "We've reviewed the situation for the first."
Not the season started. I think they might say we'll review it for next season. But I think you're going to be stuck with it this year. But I mean, look, this brings me on to my next topic of how our passion has been monetized by the club.
Let me get some comments first before you come on to the monetization
then we'll come back to
everything. We've got Paul Smith. Do you think our new sign should change the name to Alex Smith just for you, Gov?
Yes,
Axel Tuanzebe. I'm okay with that. I can do Axel Tuanzebe. I'm surprised myself. It's called growth in your role. The Cruncher, does Ashton really care when he's selling X amount of memberships at 40 quid? No, but next year he will care because I don't think there'll be that big of a take up because of the situation we find ourselves. Sean says the points only stand for 2 seasons, so I think they're ongoing. Sean,
no one knows. That's another thing that's wrong with it. Who knows?
Yeah. Crunch been a regular away since 97 and you want to be first come, first serve, get in the effing bin. Well,
no, I don't agree with that. What about kids that are coming through and want to go to an away game? Just because you go to all the games doesn't automatically mean you should be going to all the games.
You can't please all of the people all of the time. Stephen says, but who's buying a ticket even at 10 not go? I'm sorry, I don't get it. I think the way ticket scramble was due to the £12 tickets. Sean says, what's the room about the noise away with ballot? Is this rubbish? No idea, Sean. I don't pay much, if any, attention to the ticket situation. I just sort of rock up and talk about football. Just
because you've been going for X amount of years. I mean, you've got kids now coming through that are really engaged in the club and will want to go to these things. How are they going to get a ticket if you're forever rewarding the people that have been going for years and years and years? You are just regardless of your history of a supporter, newsflash, you're on the same level as us, really, when it comes to tickets and things, is how I see it. No one supports any better. I'm no better supporter than the lads who are supporting us down in Australia, in my view.
Do you know what I would do?
The same thing.
You know what I'd do? Content creator head on Town TV, extra content, right? So chargeable content, a geographic sort of series where every away game the week before we send a team out to hide tickets around the county, and then we've got cameras hidden. People have to try and find the tickets. There's clues. We could get Annika Rice, like, you know, in the helicopter. What was that show called where she comes in on the helicopter? Interceptor, was that what it's called?
There was a show called Interceptor. That was one. That only ran for one season. It was Challenge Annika, wasn't it? Originally, yeah. You were solving the clues. Interceptor was like hunted, and he had a backpack on, and he was trying to shoot you from. What a show! Bring that back.
But you know, we could do that. That would be great extra town TV content. People would watch that just for fun. Like, check the webcam. Has anyone come near the ticket? Oh, have they found it? Come on, this is great. Come on. You can have that one for free if you like, Ipswich Town. There's money in it. I think there's money in it. The Cruncher said the club must have been aware of all the issues before they brought the system in and spoken to other clubs who implement the same system. Anyone know how much corporate is at Carrot Road? No. Wide man, you can't praise everyone. The people who are happy have got points by regularly going away. People who haven't been away have no points, are unhappy.
Exactly.
Nick says no interest in Norwich away, but expect the season ticket holder to get tickets for Southampton away. Not looking likely now. I don't know. There's still a decent. There's a decent number, I think, available.
Shame it's not a Saturday, that one. I would imagine that would have sold out then if it was a Saturday, not a Wednesday. Is it Wednesday?
Tuesday. Well, you should know, Matt, because you're covering the show. Because I'm on holiday that week. So
it's a Tuesday. Yes, it is.
You are de facto in charge that week. So you need.
I'm hosting everybody.
Yes. The week-long shows with Matthew Phillips. Look forward to that, can't you? You really can. So you're not going to please everybody all the time. Harry Redknapp reporting from his car window. You could reset this little show up. You know, you could have Annika Rice presenting it. You could have commentators, perhaps Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler. Make it a real sort of Attitude Era. Give me a budget, and I'll give you Town TV extra content that you'll blow your socks off. Believe me, you'd be thrilled.
Well, we do need some exclusive content on there because at the moment I'm paying me $5.99, and it seems to be all on YouTube.
Yeah, I couldn't ask you, Rich, because you're at the game, mate. So you couldn't do a match reaction show because you're at the game. Right, monetization. You're not happy because
I think this was the start of it, wasn't it? I mean,
Hang on.
Wow, I feel like I'm back in Paul Lambert era League One town.
Old school.
No one in the stadiums. Old school. That's an old little segue for everyone who's new to the shows. Rich will be loving that, I'm sure. Yeah, I think it started with this, right? The 40 quid. So before you can even buy a bloody ticket, you've got to do the 40 quid, to be in the priority and all that, which I think is quite. Remember, this is Ashton did say to now why he's doing so well with our signings, etc. This is the same man who said, "Well, the leisure pound is tight." And then,
well, it is at the moment.
And then bought out an all black kit, the third one.
An all black kit, a membership, mascot package, paid for half some advertising.
Yeah, this is what I'm coming to. So you got that. And then behold, I'm sat in having me drink when Mark Murphy goes, if you want to get a scoreboard message here at Pullman Road on a match day, head over to tickets.co.uk for the packages. I was like, hold on a minute. Now, I've had people have put messages on there for me over the years. Have a look. 20 quid. When did that come in? 20 quid to have your name on the bloody scoreboard and them to read it out. 20 notes. And then if you want to be a mascot, it's 235 quid for season ticket holders for the whole package of the day. 250 if you're a non-season ticket holder. I remember when me and Rich were kids, that was just included in Junior Blues. And the leisure pound is tight. Well, is it? We're certainly exploiting it if it is, because people, will go into their overdraft to do this for their kids. I think.
Don't do that, people. I do not advocate that. Do not.
No, but I'm saying I bet people are in order to be a part of it and not miss out. And that's where I think it's wrong. Again, ditto. There's going to be a third strip, is there not, this season? If it was one last season, I'm pretty certain it's going to be one in the Championship. I would have thought. 225. I was a tenner over it.
Depends what the deal was with Edge. Like, I think didn't Ed design it or have a part in the fashion label having? So there might have been a 2-year agreement. I don't know. Nothing's ever revealed. Nothing's ever made in public knowledge. No.
But I would imagine.
Guess.
I'd imagine there probably would be, but we'll wait and see. But it just seems to be this constantly adding on. Then you could bring out then they bring out all the new training kit and all this and that, and people going, "Oh, I've got to get that as well." And I just think, Really? I mean, I looked at Manchester City, become a junior member at Manchester City, holders of the Champions League. It's included. Ditto Everton. I'm sure there's more Premier League clubs. It seems really tight to me. I can only presume they're trying to get back the Raheem Harper fee. And to Burton for nothing, which is what, 750 grand. I just think it's wrong to me. I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong, especially certainly in this current climate. I could understand it if we were Premier League, but we're not.
Don't start with Raheem Harper, all right? I get more flack for that transfer than the guy who actually authorised it. You know what I mean? Like Raheem the Dream, the guy's player of the year. But Max says they'll start charging us for the auction we breed at Portman Road soon. The fans will still love.
Yeah, well, I was thinking exactly. I was thinking exactly the same. Now we went to Frinton on Sea last week before the kids went back to school. I had to pay 20p to go to the toilet. I'm surprised that bloody meter isn't on the toilets in Portman Road. If that's what they're going to start doing.
There's no running hot water normally in the cobble stand. So
Sinks were blocked when I was there the other week.
Maybe we can divert some of the allocation funds to actually fixing the plumbing. But
again, it comes back to what I was saying earlier, Martin. Like we're talking about the away fan base. If you want it to be inclusive, you want to be diverse, all these things that clubs are trying to meet. These packages are not designed for people that would like to get involved, but purely because of certain life circumstances, they can't. There might be a little kid out there who'd love to be a mascot, but his mum and dad can't afford 225 quid or whatever it is. Again, it's just a cycle of people. And Rich told me they're all sold out the packages this year anyway.
But of course they are, because you're selling dreams. Like this, of all you've said there, the only thing I agree with is that mascot package. For me, that's the next generation of youngsters. They're the people you're capturing and putting the love in their heart for the football club, so they can remember that.
Make it accessible.
Yeah, it should be. This is almost, a ground zero for capturing the next generation of a fan for the next 20, 30 years. Because surely, man,
I just think like the priorities are the wrong way. That they had to pay Joe Pigott some piss off money to leave, didn't they? So they could go to Leighton Orient. I mean, that would have cost a pretty penny, I would have thought, because he was still in contract. I don't know. Just we are apparently. Look, there's an advert, isn't there, on BBC One? It says football is nothing without the fans. But don't take the piss. I don't see how Ipswich can be inclusive and diverse in charging these costs. As we said, you have to sign up to go and watch the coach come in now. And we said, I'm surprised that ain't even a tenner.
I'm always against anything like mascots. That should be free. That whatever next, you're paying £10 to be a ball boy.
I'll tell you where the next one is at the fans forum this week. Send your question in. You pay a tenner, Mark Murphy will read it. £2.50. Foz will come in.
No, that's cheeky. I like Foz, but surely if you put your long-term business hat on it for a minute, you've got more monetization opportunities on customers, which is what we are. Yeah. If you capture them at 11 years old today for the next 50 years, then you have perhaps an 11-year-old boy or girl not having the opportunity because of finances at home to do a mascot package, having that love, and then not becoming accustomed to the football club. Like, surely you've got more monetization opportunities out of that one free act of it's free than you have. Like, I don't get it. But I'm not a businessman.
Even our own players have come down that pathway. Like Jason Dizelle said, didn't he? He lived at the back of Portman Road. Came from difficult family. He'd wait till half time to get into the ground, wouldn't he?
Yes, he did. Yeah, the book.
Do you know what I mean?
Well attended.
And then he's gone on to be a club legend for us. So come on, man, just make it a little bit more accessible, is what I'm saying. You're paying all this big money to players, and we're paying big fees, and you're paying money out for contracts for things. But don't take the piss out of the fans. I personally think that's a piss take. But there we go.
The halftime messages also I agree with. I do agree. Like
20 quid on the scoreboard. Jesus Christ, it's up there for less than 20 seconds.
I can still remember. This is only my personal story. My first game at Portman Road, there was a halftime message for me for attending my first game, and now I can still hear it. I can still fear where I was, smell where I was, and it immediately comes flooding back to me.
Yeah.
That was the moment for me. Like, one of the moments. The other moment was like Mauricio Taricco and the Coca-Cola Cup with that absolute spellbinding goal over Raymond van der Houw. Yeah, but those are the moments. And obviously, earlier in the chat, we had Matchday saying his goat, because he's obviously a long-term Talking Town fan, so he knows what the segment's about. It's like, what's got your goat? Drop it in the chat. He mentioned about the Carabao Cup not being. I'm trying to find it. I've lost it. Oh, here we go. What's got my goat? Ripping us off for Carabao Cup by not having kids' tickets. Like,
it's 20 quid, isn't it? The ticket price for that game.
But those games they're your breeding ground for the next generation. Yeah. Like my first game was a Coca-Cola Cup game. You know, it was Leicester, and I'm not going to lie, I got woken up by, I think it was who was their winger, Guppy.
Oh yeah,
cutting in and scoring the winner to beat us 3-2. I think it was extra time.
One cap for England, I think him. One cap for England.
But that was my first game. I still remember it. I think we lost 3-2 to Leicester.
Yeah, I mean it's funny that because we'll get to the FA Cup, and it'd be interesting to see if we draw Rotherham again, tenner. If we draw Manchester United, 30 quid or whatever it's going to be. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It's because it's Premier League opposition, isn't it? That's what it is. Now, whether they play a Premier League team remains to be seen.
But it's like this Town TV situation. Like, let's touch on that very briefly as we're, sort of airing our grievances here, ladies and gentlemen. I put my feet up. They bring it out, $5.99. It almost appears like everything will be behind a paywall.
It should be.
And should it?
Well, if you're paying, you want exclusives, do you not? And what are the exclusives? All the good stuff, surely. Your McKenna interview should be behind the paywall.
But it's not, though, is it? That's all free now, isn't it? That's all free now, isn't it? You get the extended version of Town in 5.
Why though? Why is it free?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. Like, they brought it out, but what's the actual content on there? I have to be honest, I've not actually been on there that often to see the content. But what is the actual content for the Town TV $5.99?
Yeah, don't know. I've not been on there over the last week to have a look, but I certainly seem to recall. Other than they streamed the 2 games in Austria, didn't they? That was on there. I think you get the full replay of the game back early evening, which was good for me because I couldn't get to the Stoke game. So that was good to watch back. So that's quite good. But what am I looking for as a subscriber? I don't know, dedicated shows, I suppose. Or, a 30-minute interview with McKenna. Where
Annika Rice with away tickets.
All right. We're going to have Kieran McKenna for an hour on Town TV. Send your questions in like we've done on this channel with legends we've had on previously. Send your questions in. All the owners we did that with. Send your questions in, and we'll from the studio. I don't see why they can't do that kind of stuff. So it's only this week, in International Week, for example. But I don't know. Everything just seems to be on YouTube to me.
I have to be honest. Every time I see a free interview, like with McKenna and Ashton before was it Sunderland? That was free. Every time I see a free something now, my eyebrows do get raised a little bit because.
Will the Fans Forum be on there? Will the Fans Forum be streamed live on there as a Town TV exclusive? It should be, really.
So we've got Crispy Teabag. Thanks for the knowledge here, Crispy. Thanks for watching. Some player cams on there, often extended videos, interviews, and extended.
I don't want to watch an extended Town in 5. Really.
I barely watched the Town in 5, to be fair.
I think it's very good. That's actually very good. I didn't bother watching them until the start of this season. Now I've like goals at all of them. I think they're very good.
Dude, I've watched them. When I have time to watch something, I want to watch something that actually interests me. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that I want to watch something about the Chicago Bears.
You see like Morsi at the dressing room door and going, okay, lads, come on. And he comes out almost like an assassin. You can see like the competition in his eyes and you're thinking, that's our skipper. That's what I like about it. You get this kind of like behind the curtain look on some of the things. Or you've seen McKenna doing a quick interview, then you see him chatting with somebody off camera. It's good. You'd like to see that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's really good.
I do, but I guess because of what I do here with the platform is I'm constantly surrounded by Town content. So when I disengage from my leisure time, I kind of want to sort of go to the Bears or the Cubs.
Yeah, I get that.
Something that sort of completely is away from all.
I do that. That's why I do Frankfurt, and the Chicago Cubs and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I think the Americans got it all right. And I used to get a few years ago. I used to get Barcelona TV. They had so much on there. Like there was like a 90-minute documentary on Johan Cruyff, for example, that they just put together themselves. And I know we're at the start of the journey with Town TV, but I'd like to think that's the kind of thing they could move towards. I look back on the '81 team or a documentary on Tyson and Muren. I would certainly expect to see that kind of stuff in the Premier League.
And it might come. It's early doors. It's in its infancy. Is the podcast? I'm not going to ask you, but I'll ask the chat. Is the podcast something that you can only get if you're a $5.99 member, or is that available to anybody and everybody? I have to say I've not really listened to it, but I'd love the chat to let me know as we move on. Bring it back round to a more positive note. You've had your go.
Good next period. Let's have more goats.
Oh, I love a moan. I love a moan. Do you know what people say? Stop moaning, but. It's not about a good moan. You know,
it's
it just
human nature, isn't it?
Makes you feel good inside.
Yeah.
It's just have a good moan.
Mm.
Blaze Dog said the podcast is free, so you don't even really get that.
Well, there you go. I mean, bloody hell. Why?
There you go. You could always pay $4.99 for Talking Town instead.
I'm
biased. I'm biased. I think it's better.
I'll put it into get the same cost on BritBox.
BritBox, man! I was paying for like 8 months worth of that without even knowing. Looked at my credit card statement and thought, what the flip is BritBox? I only wanted to watch like, you know, what was it? The Britass Empire for like two weeks while I was unwell. Yeah,
I'd get more value out of BritBox than I would Town TV at the moment. I would think.
That was a hell of a show, that, wasn't it? Because the Britass Empire. Did you ever watch that?
Oh, yeah, it's good. Yeah, you don't get many sitcoms in leisure centres, do you?
No, but it's so funny.
Dad's Army's on now. All the classics. Love it.
They've got a Norwich City documentary, have they?
There was, right?
They've got a Norwich City documentary, have they? Dad's Army.
Yeah.
Come on. That was a good delivery, that one.
Very good.
That was good. We've got them coming up. Right. Next period for the international break. We've got Wednesday away, Saints away, Blackburn at home, Wolves in the Cup, Huddersfield, Hull, and Preston. 18 points, 1 cup game. How many points do you think we're going to get out of that then, ladies and gentlemen? Matt, I'll come. Do you want me to kick it off while you formulate in your mind what you think we're going to get? Yeah, I've gone for a draw at Wednesday because it's got some family connections and that always sits uneasy with me.
Yes.
Big time. Well, because they haven't won a game yet. And then along come Ipswich Town Football Club. I've lived this story before. I really have. Then we've got Saints. I'm going to go for a draw. Blackburn a win. I think we'll beat Wolves in the Cup. Huddersfield win. Hull win. Preston win. 14 out of 18 points.
My God. We'd surely be top 2 with that, would we not?
Oh, mate. I think we'll come out of the international break a little bit spluttery because of, you know, with sort of momentum sort of may have, you know, stopped. We've got Wednesday, family connections, as I've mentioned. But I do see it, particularly that back end of the, you know, Huddersfield, Hull and Preston. I can see a 9-point week coming up there.
Can you?
Really can. Yeah, why not? What are you fearing? No disrespect to those teams. What are you fearing at this point of the season?
Well, it took a gargantuan effort to beat a team that we all thought were going to get relegated last week. But yeah, I get it. Look, I think Sheffield Wednesday, I think we'll go there and win. Hopefully we've learned from the 2-2 draw last season where we were kind of coasting that game a little bit, weren't we? And then we let it slip, unfortunately. So I think that's 3 points. Southampton in a funny space to me. Sold a hell of a lot of players. I think go to Sunderland where we've won 2-1 and get done 5-0. I mean, I would say on paper, I think maybe that would be a struggle. I mean, maybe we'd lose a close game there, maybe a 1-0 or 2-1.
Okay.
I wouldn't rule out a point there. I think 3 points is going to be a bit of a big ask, but I'm not too sure. Maybe the international breaks come right for them. So I'll say we'll get a defeat there. So I'm on 3 at the moment. Blackburn again. I think they're an all right side. Is that a team we could probably beat at home? I think so. So I would take a win now. Wolves, I think we'll probably end up losing that game if they put out a strongish team. I wouldn't be too upset to go out of the Carabao, to be honest, now that stakes are high with the league, with the start we've got. Huddersfield, again, they seem to have turned a circle on, gone full circle under Warnock. I think they won at Middlesbrough. Am I right in thinking that?
Yeah.
Turn somebody over. Dodgy that. I'm going to go draw there. I think we'll have enough not to lose that game.
Hull, Huddersfield?
Yeah. I think that'd be a bit more. I think as Warnock gets his feet under the table a little bit more in this international break with them, and they've come off the back of a win, I think that would be a bit more difficult. Hull, I think will be a draw. I think they're a good team, Hull, this year. I mean, you remember Chris Hall said he thought they might be dark horses for playoffs. And Preston, yes. And Preston are top. So I'm not sure what they're going to bring to the table either. So I'm going to go with a win now. Put Portman Road against Preston. I think Preston might be a team but they're going to be quite attacking. I think Ryan Lowe is an attacking manager, same as McKenna. So I think maybe we can do them there. So I've gone
11 points. 11 points you've got.
11. Yeah, I think that's a good return from what? 8? How many matches is that?
18. So 11 out of 18. I've gone for 14 out of 18, and you've gone for 11.
That's still almost 2 points a game, to be honest with you. There's only one defeat in there. A couple of draws. Yeah. I do feel like Cardiff did, even though we eventually did fantastically well to beat Cardiff, they did open my eyes a little bit to the tactics you can bring to Portman Road and actually keep us quite contained for quite a long period of time. And I don't think we're always going to be able to produce the kind of performances we did to sometimes break these down if we go a goal down. Is my take on it. It's a gargantuan effort, isn't it, to have to keep coming back from behind each time from Pullman Road if they kind of sit deep. And I think some of these might do. But I think Preston gives us a good opportunity because I think with Ryan Lowe, he had very good attacking football at Plymouth. I'm taking the assumption that they're top and doing the same thing. So at Preston, so that's where I see it. I think teams that go toe-to-toe with us a little bit more, I think we'll play into our hands a little bit.
Nick with the mustard says 13. Cruncher 76 says 11. EJ says 11. Let us know how many points you think we're going to get out of those. I want to know. I want you to put your Mystic Meg hat on for a second, and I want you to tell me who you think the standout player in a Town shirt will be from those group of games. Who do you think is really going to excel in the next 6 to 8 games?
Interesting one, that. Yeah, really good question. I feel like we're going to see probably Jack Taylor come to the forefront. Martin's like just praying to God here. I certainly think he's going to come to the forefront. I think if Haladki's to keep making the impression that he is, I think he needs to have a good run of games there as well. Because Walton, I think by the time we get to the end of that, it's going to be breathing down his neck a little bit. So I hope he does that. I hope we get to see some of Dane Scarlett and the promise that we've been told of figures like Mourinho and McKenna waxing lyrical and what a talent he is. So I hope we do there. And if they can't, if Clark is still struggling with minutes, I'd like to think we'll probably see Brandon Williams come through. And again, what does someone who's on loan from Manchester United bring to the table? And will we suddenly get a debut from Big Axel? I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. So I think all those names could be in the mixer. Where George Hurst is going to fit into that, I don't know. Can they get him fit in this international break? Because obviously he passed the fitness test and then clearly half hour in, he had to go off.
It was a groin, wasn't it? I think. Did I read somewhere or hear somewhere?
Yeah. He had an abductor muscle, didn't he, around his hip? So it could all be interlinked that.
Yeah.
So whether or not we can get him firing, or maybe Will Adapo will come to the forefront. He's finished on, he's gone into the international break with 2 goals, albeit quite fortuitous, but he was Johnny on the spot. Fair play to him. Maybe he'll come pushing through. Exciting, though. We've got all these players with potential to do something.
It really is. Big Fred is a really underrated player. Like, he's got double-digit goals last year. He's had a fairly decent start to Championship life this year. But yeah, in the window, many people would have been saying, "Oh, we can upgrade that position if we can move Freddie on." I just think for the return of the goals for the value the club put in, which is obviously a free transfer, they'd be probably signing bonuses and things like that. But he's underrated.
He is underrated.
Tremendously so.
Yeah, I think he's that. Look, first impressions count a lot, don't they? And I think he struggled with our fan base a little bit in terms of last season. Then did come through, and then in a flash, he's got 2 goals last week. He's also a bit of an asset for us. You could use him as a bargaining chip if he was trying to bring someone out of League One to be a striker to come in.
But that's what I mean. Like, all right, you got off to a bad start. I agree with that. But what else has the geezer got to give you other than what he's given you so far? Like,
it's really good. Yeah, I totally agree.
He scores goals. He's not George Hurst. Park that out of the way. You'll hear me throughout the year saying he's not George Hurst. We'll miss George Hurst. But let's park that out of the way. He's not George Hurst. He doesn't play like George Hurst. He gets goals. He's a striker. Like, let's start putting some respect on the name.
Yeah. Look, he's getting on a bit, isn't he? Look, he's going to be at the end of this campaign, 31, maybe? He's going to be around.
I ain't old. I ain't old.
No, but maybe in terms of football, lip circles, like we talk about Morsi. It's 32 now.
True. Yeah.
Moving on a little bit. But you could use Ladapo to, for argument's sake, they like the look of that Armstrong at QPR. You could use him as a bargaining chip. They don't lose out. They get a really good strike, and we get a really good prospect coming through. So he could be used in that maybe in January. I'd rather keep him. If he's going to keep finding the net like he did in, those 2 poachers finishes against Cardiff, I'd rather keep him around.
Hit him right in the place that needs written just to get in the back of the net.
As we said last week, Greaves and Lineker in the right place at the right time. That's why they're phenomenal strikers. And Freddie was that last week. And long may it continue.
You could say he read the game beautifully to put himself in that position. You could turn it in the
positive. Went in.
Yeah. Cruncher says Jack Taylor. Wide man on the right says Sam Morsi. Can wide man on the right play Saturday? Because if Wes Burns is injured, we might need another one. You never know. Crispy Teabag, Broadhead, I think, but I want Chaplin to start playing a bit better. Williams was good at Cardiff. 12 points from Kev. Crispy also says Freddie's underrated. I agree. But Harp says only a couple of weeks ago some of us were saying he's overrated. Fickle. Yeah, but I'm a podcaster, Harps. You'll hear my opinion change like the wind, mate.
Just a quick question before we do depart. We're going to do about half hour. We've done an hour and 10 already.
Mate, we just sort of got into the groove. It was like,
people realise that Morsi is like on the periphery of going to the African Cup of Nations. That's going to be all of January and February. Now that's going to be a big miss for us.
Wow, it would. Well,
because they're qualified Egypt. It's in Ivory Coast, and you've got Burgess also would be away in that time period because they've got the Asia Cup Australia, and I think they play India in their first game. It's a bit of a mad one, isn't it? Just think of them as a cricketing nation. But
that is a worry because you've got to. That's when you really got to hope Axel stays fit. Because if he doesn't, you've got George or Elkin. Although Elkin may also be. I don't know what the situation is in January in terms of Indonesia. I don't know. If
not involved, that's a very good point. Actually, they'd be involved in that presumably if they were qualified.
Exactly. I'd have to have a look.
Information tough experts in it.
It's just hit me. Like also,
yeah, it could be involved if they've qualified. I don't know. But suddenly you've got misses for major tournaments. And
not just misses. That's huge.
Going to be the key. Yeah, the key one. Now that was his first cap for quite a while. I believe it was his 8th cap.
And I found that mind-boggling, by the way. Sam Morsi's only got 8 caps. Who's keeping him out of Egypt?
Well, exactly. I went and looked at this, and it's actually players from within the Egyptian top flight. So it's I think they're called Al Ali, which I think I've said that correctly, who are like the African Champions League holders. So decent side there. How that actually pans out to what our Premier League sides are like, I don't know. And there's another club, which I thought was a fantastic name for a team in Egypt, Pyramids. He keeps the fella there keeps them out, and of course up front they have Salah, who didn't play in this game, and Marmoush, who's just been bought in by Frankfurt, really good player. So they've got a smattering of players from abroad, but it seems to be quite a domestic team. But Salah didn't play in this game, so I'm presuming they would just bring in maybe some more fringe players. And he only come on in injury time. Morsi and actually scored, believe it or not, it was ruled out for offside. So even in these cameo of about 3 or 4 minutes, he actually scored a goal. But I wonder if they were just having a little look at him. Didn't get minutes because of that big tackle he had against Cardiff. Would he actually be included in that squad? Selfish reasons. I hope he isn't for Town, but personally, I hope he is because what a thing for him. Look, we know how much it means to him and the religion and all that kind of thing. When we score the goal, he goes down, doesn't he, onto the pitch? So fantastic for him. But for purely selfish Ipswich Town reasons, I hope he sticks around because I think he's player of the month.
And he's your emotional leader.
Yeah,
like you might Crunch says in the chat. Be interested to see how he would cope without Morsi. I think he's a great player on the ball and he's a great player in midfield. I'm not taking that away from him, but could you cover it with Taylor and Massimo? Possibly, but the emotional aspect of it, like that tackle last minute, that's my leader. That's if I'm a player, that is my leader. It is game on the line. It is last minute. 50-50, not even that really. If you look at the position of the ball, he had nothing in his mind, but that ball is mine and you ain't getting anywhere near it, pal.
Do you know, that's one of my moments. Leader. Yeah, I know. That's one of my moments of the season already. I know it sounds a bit weird, but the fact that we were on tenterhooks and trying to hold on to this lead and he sticks that tackle in, I jumped off my seat like we'd scored. Yeah. I just thought it was phenomenal. And that embodies everything that he's all about, which is great. It shows you the spirit of the club.
Exactly. And culturally in the dressing room, when you watch that tape back, when you watch that game back as a group, those are the moments as a group you will collectively celebrate because that's your captain, that's your leader. That's what it takes to win a game of football at this level, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we need every week, all of us. And people in the dressing room go with, that's my captain. If he's doing it, I'm doing it.
That's what you want, isn't it? Yeah, just brilliant. Just brilliant. Yeah, that real hallmarks of like a DeVos character or something, real that sort of tough as nails.
Huge. And probably his real crowning moment as captain. There's been a whole number of them, but for me, that's a big moment of his captaincy of leading the group of what it takes in the championship to win a game of football. You have to give everything, whether it hurts you for your international career or not. You have to give everything.
Proper in the moment, that wasn't he? He wasn't even thinking about the week to come and internationally and playing alongside big names in Egypt who can't even walk down the street there because they'll get mobbed. He was all in. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant.
Loved it. And that's my captain, my leader, my moment. So yeah, probably got player of the year, player of the month just for that moment. But yeah,
I wouldn't disagree with
that. Although Crunch says steady Matt, that's a long way down off your seat. Oh dear.
Cheek of it. The absolute cheek of it.
From the part-time contributors as well.
Why is he not here anyway? Where is he?
Yeah.
He's just watching the show.
course he is. King Morsi says absolutely King Morsi. Right, we're done. We've delivered a hell of a show for an international break. I don't know how we've done that. We just talked, ladies and gentlemen. But on Wednesday, I am back 8 p.m. and I will be joined by Rob Statton, who will give us some insight on Sheffield Wednesday. His Twitter profile says manager at BBC Sheffield, sport journalist and commentator, football heaven hosts, NFL on 5 Live, and he also writes Seahawks. He's a Seahawks fan. Oh, I might cancel that.
He could be your new best friend, this fella. NFL, football.
I love it. NFL's back tonight. Buzzing. Absolute buzzing. But yeah, so I'm joined by Rob on Wednesday. So do join us on Wednesday at 8 p.m. But for today, we're done. Like
I'm off to the theatre now to go and see Horrible Histories, Balmy Britons.
I'm off for a shower. I mean, these lights in this heat have left me at least a stone lighter in sweat. It's horrible.
I know. I've got aircon in there.
They need it. Absolutely. But anyway, he is the media mogul, the man from Del Monte, hat in the corner. I am the Gov. Thank you for watching. See you Wednesday. And up and down. You make me smile when I think of you. If I get down or when I am blue, I can't get enough. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. I woke up all soaked in sweat, weird chills running down my neck. I thought went crazy from just the thought of you. A long blonde hair.